Indie Week takeaways, Canada chooses donuts, and who are you and why are you here? Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by a belief that we will win. And brought to you by No Disc, helping music technology and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's June 12th, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's another Finance Friday. Well, really not just another Finance Friday. The World Cup is back in the USA. But before we dive into the shallow money trench, great to see everybody this week at A2IM Indie Week. As usual, it brought together some of my favorite people, and honestly, the follow-ups from this year are even more numerous than in recent years. Kudos to Hresko and the team over there for putting together a consistently worthwhile event. A couple of takeaways from this year. The first was the blurring of lines between indie and majors, maybe not from a market share perspective. Even the mini majors like Concord and Believe have a long way to go before they come close to major market share, but functionally, with the majors continuing to step up their offerings to independent artists, through Virgin and The Orchard in particular, they seem to be meeting in the middle in terms of services. It's probably healthy to have a mini major sector holding the feet of the majors to the fire, but it also does pose a bit of an existential challenge for the smaller indies, and the most significant avatar of that would be Merlin, which has the challenge of getting fair deals for its constituents at the same time as those constituents may be outgrowing it. Takeaway 2 is that when it comes to AI, well, I think the indie kids are going to be all right. There are a lot of issues to work out, like licensing rates and structures that are still being negotiated, but with developments like Warner's acquisition of Surreal, panic around AI is increasingly being replaced by acceptance and pragmatism. The needle on AI music seems to be pointing less toward a human-eliminating Terminator and more toward a human-serving Lieutenant Data. The third takeaway, well, as for the conference itself, the best action, as was the case at Music Biz, was in the lobby. I made a concerted effort to actually try and attend panels and presentations this year because the lineups were interesting, and yeah, you can actually learn things in a well-structured environment. But let me repeat, in a well-structured environment. A panel is not just a collection of smart people. It requires some direction and facilitation and focus to succeed. Maybe I was just unlucky, and I'm not going to publicly name and shame the moderators and presenters who fell short, but let's just say with a little better preparation, a few key panels could have been really interesting and informative and maybe elevated the discourse around their subject, but instead turned into snooze fests, if not downright awkward bad dates. Maybe being a daily editor and creator of content has raised my standards, but the gulf between the good and the bad this year was striking. Again, I'm not going to publicly name and shame, but I will point out a positive example, the criminally underattended conversation that A2IM's Lisa Hresko conducted with the U.S. Register of Copyrights, Shira Perlmutter. Lisa came well prepared with the right questions. Shira Perlmutter is an amazingly poised and focused and clear communicator, and the two of them managed to elevate what can be a very dry subject into a set of very concrete takeaways. More of that, please, and I'm happy to help. Now let's dive into the shallow money trench where thieves and pimps run free. The biggest pure indie story of the financial week was the announcement earlier in the week that the aforementioned Merlin had acquired Curve royalty systems from Downtown. When Downtown was acquired by Virgin, Curve was identified as one of the key pieces that Virgin Downtown needed to divest. Curve provides the wonkiest of wonky services, royalty processing, and it wasn't going to be a good look for it to sit inside the Virgin ecosystem, which, after all, is just part of the Universal music ecosystem. Curve is going to be a big strategic asset in maintaining Merlin's relevance as it continues to try and wrangle the cats of the independent market share sector to maximize its leverage, just as those mini majors are developing their own leverage. And if it helps maintain some competitive balance for the indies, that would be a good thing. Here's where I point out for the umpteenth time that the Curve sale was not ordered by American regulators, but by European ones. So once again, U.S. businesses and consumers can thank the EU for doing the hard work our government should be doing. You may have heard me speak of delicious Tim Hortons honey crullers as a metaphor for how much things are actually worth. If you are a more recent convert to unlimited supply, you will be forgiven for not knowing why I choose honey crullers as a preferred unit of metaphorical exchange. The reason is that the Tim Hortons honey cruller indexes almost exactly to the monthly amount an average Canadian streaming consumer would have to pay to support the streaming tax that the Canadian government proposed a while back. Yes, for the price of one donut a month, Canadian streaming consumers would have been pouring millions of Canadian loonies into the pockets of their artists and creators and cultural institutions. The news this week is that for now, the Canadians will keep their donut money. Over at Digital Music News, Dylan Smith is reporting that the Canadian streaming tax is dead, at least for now. The Canadian Minister of Culture, in effect, has blamed inflation for this, saying that consumers are already stretched thin by things like gas prices. I suspect the various lobbying of the DSPs and the American video streaming giants had something to do with it, too. At least for now, score one for Tim Hortons over the tragically hip in the battle of the Canadian icons. And the big news last week was UMG's rejection of Bill Ackman's takeover bid and Ackman's big cash out. In the wake of all of that, UMG isn't sitting still. Over at Hits Daily Double, the rumor mill is reporting that UMG is looking to the debt rather than equity markets after it bought back a whole ton of its stock last week. According to the article, it's exploring a bond sale of one queener, $1 billion, which is a lot to you and me, but in the context of Universal's recent conversations, is not a whole heck of a lot of money, unless, of course, you are an actual artist or songwriter on the receiving end of some of that investment. And that's another Finance Friday. Getting back to A2IM Indie Week, as usual, I walked around, engaged in random conversations, pushed my mic into people's faces, and asked them, who are you and why are you here? Maybe in honor of the World Cup, it should have just been, who are you? Here's what we learned. Who are you and why are you here?
Bob Hoch, Mascot Records. I'm here to try and learn a little bit more about the industry and how to help our artists.
Who are you and why are you here?
I'm Mike Green. I run Evergreen Media. It's a new digital audience growth consultancy for artists, labels, and managers. I'm excited about learning new ways to create efficiencies in my business as I'm just getting started. Very hands-on with everything, so looking forward to learn from other entrepreneurs and new platforms on how to create efficiencies, not only for my own workflow, but for my clients.
Who are you and why are you here?
Okay, I'm Peter Wright from Virtual Label, which is a catalog management company established in 2003. Some of our clients include Swans, the Handsome Family, the John Spencer Blues Explosion, Sun Ra's estate, and the Moondog estate. I decided I'd come and support the event this year. I'm going to see a couple of panels, meet a couple of people, maybe go to a couple of mixers, and it'll be good.
Who are you and why are you here?
Hello, my name is Nomad. I am here to go and promote Onisan Records, and I'm hoping to go ahead and break in the Latin market to Japan, or at least bring Mexican regional music to Japan and make a fusion of something new.
Who are you and why are you here?
Hi there, I'm Stephanie Kurse. I work for Wright, and I'm here to network with new people and to learn more about AI and how that's impacting music.
Who are you and why are you here?
I'm Olya Sonica. I'm an independent artist, and I also work for a startup called artisamon.com. And I'm here to just connect with people who work with artists, maybe like artist management, record labels. I'm curious about people in like sync and licensing world and stuff like that.
Support for Unlimited Supply comes from you, our listeners, and now we have Unlimited Supply supporter swag. The limited edition Unlimited Supply Black Trucker Cap is on sale in our store at unlimitedsupplypod.com, bundled with a year-long premium membership. For one reasonable price, you'll have the satisfaction of supporting Unlimited Supply. You'll also receive a shout-out as a supporter in the show, and you'll get that stylin' trucker cap. We also have Unlimited Supply merit badges, or you can just buy me a cup of coffee. Our song of the week comes from a recommendation from old friend Avett Brothers manager Dolphus Ramseur, who waxed rhapsodic on his social feeds this week about John Gallagher Jr.'s song Tough Spit. It's pretty great, but don't take my word for it. This is what Dolph had to say. Quote, "Pop at its finest. Could have been on Wilco's Being There or 100% Fun by Matthew Sweet." You're right, Dolph. You had me at Matthew Sweet. Look at that. Social music sharing is not dead. Who knew? It's on our Unlimited Supply official podcast playlist on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Qobuz, and there's a link in the show notes. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods, and now you can follow us on Substack too. I live for your praise and encouragement in person, but it helps a lot more if you drop us a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or three, preferably 21 times, because according to marketing whiz Susie Schultz, it now takes not 5, but 21 times for anything to sink in. Links, including links to support us, are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. In the words of the great philosopher Eduardo Rivadavia, don't let your short-term greed get in the way of your long-term greed. And remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Knicks. Go USA, go Sweden.